Today we've come to a place above Gary Moor in the south of the island. We're talking to Kiri Jenkins, who is leading the campaign against the proposed Manx Utilities wind farm. Mrs Jenkins, there's recently been a ruling in France against EDF Energy about a wind farm. What's the significance of that ruling and how does it relate to the Isle of Man scheme?
So the armless ruling is important because it underscores what conservationists have been saying for years, that industrial wind turbines can affect important bird species. The kestrels that were killed in the French case are closely related to our local kestrels, and what the armless ruling did was enforce EDF Renewables to shut off their turbines for several months each year. So the significance and the relation to the Isle of Man project is the fact that the output from the Cerfai wind farm is now got to be looked at in that context. So, you know, we're looking at a quarter of the annual power being lost.
And added to that, the fines, I understand, were not insignificant either.
That's right, the chief executive got a 6-month suspended sentence, and there was €500,000 for each of the companies that were involved in the project.
So in terms of the bird species then, what species are found in this area where the Manx Utilities Authority are proposing to build this facility?
Well, the southern uplands are recognised by BirdLife International as an area of global significance for choughs and hen harriers. Hen harriers are found in these uplands along with many other raptor species, so the kestrels, buzzards, peregrines. You know, we've also got long-eared owls within the plantation, and so all these important bird species can be affected by wind turbines.
Now they're calling this a failed plantation. So for the uninitiated, it might mean, well, it's a failed plantation, therefore it's ripe for development. What's the significance of it being a failed plantation?
So this plantation was planted in the late 50s, actually, and it was planted as mitigation for water runoff for the Upper Skird reservoirs. In actual fact, the Sitka spruce and lodgepole pine failed, as you can probably see. But the significance of that is that it's meant that it's now perfect habitat for other wildlife and animals, and the biodiversity up here has been, you know, it's just been expanded really because it's a failure. So unlike other commercial plantations where you would see perhaps Sitka spruce with nothing underneath the trees, here it's got almost temperate rainforest-like conditions further down the plantation, and up here the upland characteristics, the moorland, the heather, all that is now coming through, and you can see how important this area is, particularly for hen harriers who are ground nesting birds, but we have other birds like the skylarks, curlew. All these sort of birds are looking for this type of habitat.
So is this habitat quite unique as far as the Isle of Man goes?
It is. It's a very important habitat which is on an important migration route from the Calf of Man up through the island, and this is an important stopping off point. We see so many amazing bird species here. And the
hen harriers themselves, I mean, they're obviously, it's well known they're a declining species. So how important is it, do you feel, that this habitat is retained? Because they talk about mitigation. What does that mean? Well, mitigation
is moving birds on or turning the turbines off. That's what their mitigation means. You can't mitigate on a small island because where are the birds going to move to? So this is very important for hen harriers, and the Isle of Man hen harrier population is important internationally. I mean, globally hen harriers are on the decline, but the Isle of Man has this core of breeding population, and of course we're then supplying, if you like, all the islands around us. So if we lose the Isle of Man breeding population, we're affecting the international population of hen harriers.
And I understand we're currently stood on a site where one of the turbines is thought to be going. This particular site here, what can be seen here?
So
where we're
this is
stood?
what you're seeing is the underlying vegetation, which is identical to Kringle Great Park, which is, of course, heathland. This is the area of contention that we've fought, Manx Utilities, right from the beginning, that there is peat here, that this is heathland, that this is an important habitat. We know when they started the project that they promised us that if there was peat found, the project would not go ahead. The narrative has changed on that. We heard Mr. Wannenberg only recently in Keys talking about peat and the mitigation that they would do for the peat and the reprofiling. But this is an important sponge. You know, we're not against renewables. This is what is being used to absorb carbon, and it just seems ridiculous to us that the MUA are pressing on with this project when faced with all these facts.
And I understand that to build this facility, all of this area, or pretty much most of it, is going to have to be cleared.
Yes, so all the vegetation will be cleared. There will be access roads across Kringle Park. It's a significant project with a significant amount of stone that will be brought into the island, cement that will be brought into the island, and you know the bases of these turbines are not small. There is a very significant change to our landscape, and that's why we're fighting it so hard.